Hello again everyone, welcome to another Injustice guide. Now this one is going to be about the different ways you can use your meter, and there are actually a couple of ways which I think some people don't know about, which is going to be very interesting. And also after that I'm going to go on to how to actually do a tech roll, because that is a very important aspect of this game. It does let you get up off the floor really fast and start your pressure again and get back into the fight, which is really good. Now before I get started, this is on the PS3 Demo build still. I'm not one of the lucky sods which actually has access to the game so early on, and so everything could be subject to change. So let's get started, shall we? Okay, the first thing that we need to mention about the meter in this game is that the person who scores the first hit gets one whole bar of meter, which is a very good advantage over your opponent. But speaking of meter building, just doing a jumping 3, which I think is like your heavy attack, your X button or your A button I believe, is building a lot of meter for the opponent. As you can see, Lex Luthor's meter bar is going up a hell of a lot when he gets hit by this move. It's doing a lot of damage as well, but look at that meter, it's so good. So you have to be careful when you're using that move. I just wanted to point that out there really. Now the first way to spend meter is to obviously improve your special moves. Now they do come out in a variety of different ways. Lex Luthor's Gravity Well has to hit the opponent in order for you to be able to spend meter on it. So unless it sucks them in, you can't press it, and there is a buffer to it, so you can press the meter spending button, the R trigger, after you've already hit them. And for Lex's probes, you can still buffer the move, but it's very short buffer, because you don't have to wait until it hits or anything. You can use it whenever you want. So there's that variety of special moves as well. And there's other special moves which you can't use your meter on. So his lance, for example. Now you can see this in the actual special moves section. It actually tells you which moves can burn meter and which ones can't. See, these corpse charge and lance blasts can't. And it actually tells you what the meter burn does, which is really good. But it's always best to check it yourself. So as we've seen here, Lex Luthor's Gravity Mine can also use meter, and again it's the type of one that can only use meter if it hits the opponent and starts to juggle them. So now we've gotten out of the obvious stuff, this game uses a directional button to block, like Street Fighter. You have to hold back and then you block, or down back basically. And the next way you can use your meter is to block an attack and press R2 or right trigger, whatever your meter burn button is. And you'll push them away in a form of advancing guard, like you might see in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom or BlazBlue or something like that. It pushes them away, and it's really good. It seems quite good. It costs 1 meter to do this. Okay? And I'll state again, this is done by blocking and pressing the meter burn button as they hit you. It seems quite lenient. This can also be done on jumping attacks, and when they reach the floor they'll get pushed away, and you can't block in the air in this game like you can in other games, so there's no air blocking, so you won't be able to do this if you're both in the air. So the next way to use meter in this game is when you press forward and 3 or backwards and 3, you perform like a charge move which normally results in a wall bounce or a ground bounce. Now if you press meter burn on this move, you gain 1 hit of armor, which is really good because then you can take 1 hit and then still punish them, which is nice. But it obviously only gives you 1 hit. If you get hit twice by 2 light attacks like Batman's doing here, then you get knocked out of it. But that's pretty good if you're a big heavy tough hitting character and you just want to get into a free ground bounce. The next way you can actually use meter is to perform a bounce cancel. Now this is done by pressing forward and R2 or back and R2 during your own combo. This will cancel the combo and go into a ground bounce to extend the combo, or cancel a combo into a level transition. So it's like a quick way to get into a ground bounce. It costs 2 meter to do this though, so you don't want to whiff it like I am here, because it's just very, very painful on your meter to do so. So you have to make sure that you know how to get into it. I'm just trying to fire it off. I don't know any combos that actually use it yet. It's probably an advanced tactic which a lot of people probably haven't gotten into yet, wasting 2 meter bars on this. Now I can't actually seem to do it on this particular target combo here. Now this target combo can't actually be cancelled into any specials, so it probably follows that particular rule. Only target combos which actually can be cancelled into specials can use the bounce cancel. And the next way you can actually use meter is to go into the wager system, but I've already explained this in detail in one of my other videos so far, so I'm sure many of you are very aware of that particularly. And finally, the last way you can actually use meter is when you've got 4 bars of meter, your little symbol glows and you can do your... There's probably a specific term for it, but for now I'll just call it your super. And it does a nice chunk of damage, about 33 damage for Batman anyway. So they're all the ways you can use meter in this game. Hopefully I've made you aware of some of the things maybe you didn't know, like the advancing guard. The bounce cancel seems not utilised yet. I think everyone's still getting used to the game. It's not even out yet, so what am I on about? Anyway, now we're going on to the tech roll, which is a really useful tool to get out of situations you don't want to be in, and also get back into the fight as soon as possible. Now the ways you do this is to press down when you hit the floor. When you hear the hit, you press down and you'll roll backwards, and you can cancel this roll really fast. So it's a really good way of getting out. Now if you press it too early before you actually hear the sound, then you won't work and you won't be able to mash it very easily. It's better to actually do it on time, and you'll get a nice backwards roll. It's always backwards and you can't go through them like Street Fighter X Tekken or anything. But there are some scenarios where this is very useful. Just that offhand, off the top of my head, this particular combo, which I think I discovered, but it's not actually that good, it's unblockable and inescapable if you don't do a tech roll. The only way to escape this particular setup is to do a tech roll and jump as soon as possible. See how fast he actually jumped there? It's really good to tech roll. I don't see much of an issue with it. It just lets you get up a lot faster, so there's not really that big of an issue against using it. So I recommend everyone should know how to tech roll. So that's it, folks. Now again, you do the tech roll by pressing down after you've hit the floor. About when you hear the sound is a good time, but I'm sure with a little bit of practice everyone will be tech rolling forever. And also advancing guard, everything sort of revolves around the R2. Block and R2 for advancing guard, forward and R2 for the wager system, and R2 nicely buffered. There's a nice buffer chance, you don't have to press it at the same time like on Street Fighter. So yeah, hopefully I've made you aware of some stuff, and that's all I wanted. Thank you for listening.